Hey there, I'm here in Whitechurch Cemetery in Ballywalter visiting this man here, Arthur Lusk, or Captain Arthur Lusk. It says on his gravestone that he circumnavigated the globe with Lord Anson. If you're like me and you don't know who Lord Anson was, I'll just give you a bit of information about the man. Lord Anson, or Admiral of the Fleet George Anson, as he was also known, was the first Baron Anson. He was born in 1697 and died in 1762. He was a British admiral and a wealthy aristocrat, noted for his circumnavigation of the globe and his role overseeing the Royal Navy during the 7-Year War. While Great Britain was at war with Spain in 1740, Commodore George Anson, as he was then, led a squadron of 8 ships on a mission to disrupt or capture Spain's Pacific possessions. Returning to England in 1744 by way of China, thus completing a circumnavigation of the globe, the voyage was notable for the capture of an Acapulco galleon, which I'll talk about later, but also for the horrific losses due to disease, with only 188 of the original 1,854 crew surviving. Now, Anson's squadron left later than intended in the year because of they couldn't actually get enough crew for some of the vessels. A squadron consisted of 6 warships: the HMS Centurion, which was the flagship, the Gloucester, the Severn, the Pearl, the Wager, and a sloop called the Trial, plus 2 store ships called the Anna and the Industry. The Centurion was a 60-gun, 4th-rate ship of the line. Now, if you don't know what a ship of the line is, if you've ever seen Pirates of the Caribbean or any other pirate movie, and the 2 ships sail side by side, and all the gun bays open, and the 2 ships blast the hell out of each other until one sinks, that's what's meant by a ship of the line. Basically, rows and rows of guns up the side. Successive disasters eventually reduced his force to just the Centurion. 2 of his vessels, the Pearl and the Severn, failed to round Cape Horn and had to return home. Wager was wrecked off the coast of Chile. The lateness of the season forced him to round Cape Horn with very stormy weather, and the navigating equipment at the time just wasn't wasn't capable of giving him exact observation. By the time Anson reached the island of Juan Fernandez in June 1741, only 3 of his 6 ships remained, while the strength of his crew had fallen from 961 to 335. Now, in the absence of any real effective Spanish force on the coast, he was able to harass the enemy and to sack the small port of Pete in Peru on the 15th of November 1741. The steady decrease of his crew due to scurvy and the worn-out state of his remaining consorts compelled him to collect all his remaining survivors and stores into the Centurion. He scuttled the other 2 vessels. He rested at the island of Tinian and made his way to Macau in November 1742. After considerable difficulties dealing with the Chinese, he sailed again with his one remaining vessel, the Centurion, and cruised in search of one of the richly laden Manila galleons, which were famous at the time. They conducted their business between Mexico and the Philippines. They persevered and gained their reward of the capture of an immensely rich prize. They captured a ship which translates as Our Lady of Covadongo. It possessed 1,313,843 pieces of 8, which they encountered off Cape Espiritu Santo on June 20th, 1743. Anson took his prize back to Macau, sold the cargo and the ship to the Chinese, and sailed for England, which he reached via the Cape of Good Hope on the 15th of June 1744. The prize money earned him great status and instantly made him an aristocrat. And his family restored a country home that they lived in, and that pretty much promoted him to the level of the super rich at the time. You know, you'd be talking probably in the equivalent of hundreds of millions in today's money. Now, Arthur Lusk, the man buried beneath me here, didn't die during that journey. In fact, he lived on for 60 years. He lived on for and died at the age of 91. So he was one of them 188 out of 1,850 men. He was one of them who returned home. He was part of that piece of history which will never be forgotten. And he's buried in Ballywalter. I'm sure with a bit of research there'll be hundreds more people buried around this province who die and are buried in relative obscurity, and hopefully with a bit of research and a bit of effort we can find some more of them. Cheers.